Thanks for being here. The federal government is now working to figure out what caused these devastating wildfires in California. The Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives will take the lead on the investigation. And while the ATF is still investigating the exact cause, we do know the fires were partly fueled by extreme drought conditions, combined with the Santa Ana winds that sent embers into the air much faster than usual. The exact cause of the fires is still being figured out, but according to some estimates, these wildfires will be the costliest in U.S. history. So I want to bring in NewsNation correspondents Alicia, Nieves, and Caitlyn Becker to dive in even further. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. Caitlyn, first, what more do we know about the investigation into the cause?
Well, we know that it's being led by the ATF, but it's a multi-agency task force that was recently formed. It's called the Los Angeles Regional Wildfire Investigative Task Force. It's a mouthful there, and there are a lot of agencies, state, federal, and local, who are coming together to try to figure out exactly what caused each and every one of these fires, and not only to figure out what caused them, but whether or not they're linked in some way. So the ATF is taking point in that, and what they're trying to do is find the source point of where they started, and then from there they can do an investigation to determine exactly how the fire was sparked. For instance, with the Palisades fire, we know that its origin was way up there in the canyons in that brush. So it doesn't seem likely that it was man-made, or, you know, when we investigate these things, we've been talking about them for years. There are some gender reveals that can cause something like that, or fireworks. It seems that where this was originated, it was so far off the beaten path of where human beings go that it does seem that it would be much more of a natural source for how the fire initially sparked. But these dry tinderbox conditions really exacerbated the situation and led to the devastation that you're seeing right here.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. And the winds being as fast as they were, particularly in the beginning, and the aircraft couldn't come in to drop the fire retardant in the water. I mean, just really hampered effort. So the damage is just insane already, and it's not done yet. Numbers are still being tallied. Where does it stand right now?
By the minute, you're looking at millions of dollars, right? We know right now 12,300 structures at a minimum have been destroyed. Many of those structures are homes. In these areas, you're looking at $3.3 million is the middle of the road price for a home in the Pacific Palisades, $2 million in Malibu, $1.3 million in Altadena. And these are not all, millionaires and, celebrities' homes. These are homes that my grandmother bought this home 30 years ago for $100,000. Now it's worth $2 million. It's going to take at least $2 million to rebuild. And by the way, these are areas where people lost their home, their mother lost their home, their aunt lost their home. Generations of families have lost homes. So you're looking easily, if you do the math, 12,000 structures, many of them homes, at these price range, double-digit billions of dollars in just damages to homes in this area. AccuWeather pulling back and saying 135 to 150 billion is what we're looking at potentially in terms of damages and economic impact. And that number, gotta say, it's tripled in 3 days. These fires are still ongoing. So this is likely to rise to one of the, if not the most, devastating and costliest disaster in U.S. history. I'll say really quickly, in terms of that economic impact, you're looking at 30% of the TV and film industry, workforce completely at a halt right now. They're not essential. This is a devastating situation. They're unable to work. Tourism, what is that going to look like for LA moving forward? Because that's a $40 billion industry for them that may not exist, certainly to the extent that it did before.
Yeah, the trickle down is going to be more like a rushing river.
Yes.
Or like a fire hydrant that shouldn't have been dry, like we're seeing here.
Unfortunately.
Caitlyn, all of this financial issue that people are dealing with, and also the mental anguish, has people seeing red, literally and figuratively, and they're wondering more about the cause. And some are even wondering if there could be arson.
The mental anguish is, I think, something you couldn't put a price on here. I lived in LA for 8 years. I moved this time last year, and all I'm hearing from my friends that are still out there is the terror of going to sleep. Because if you're asleep, you might miss an alert. And if you miss an alert, you might die. That kind of terror put on them is just paralyzing. And then to have the question of how the fire started, could it have been an individual arsonist, is petrifying. As of now, this hasn't been technically fully ruled out, but it doesn't seem that, according to investigators, yet that arson is a cause. One of the other common causes are lightning. They've pretty much ruled that out, at least for the Palisades fire, as well as the Hearst fire. Their down power lines could be an option, but right now it doesn't seem that it has been intentionally set by someone. However, arson copycats do tend to pop up time.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.